Yo, welcome to another episode of Dad Podcast. And to this episode, we're gonna talk about autism. My fault, Autism Month. And we're gonna start off with 10 facts. Oh, Joe.
Yeah. So there's no medical detection for autism, and there's no cure for autism right now. Autism affects 1 in 68 children every year. 1 in 68 children is affected by it, and 1 in 42 boys. So it's more prevalent in boys. Autism costs a family over $60,000 a year, so it's very expensive.
You can't grow out of autism. I'm sorry, it's kind of a touchy subject for me because I have 2 autistic daughters, so that's why it's kind of hard for me being choppy right now. But you cannot outgrow it. Some of their talents are better than ours. The spectrum is a linear thing. It's really linear, and it's harder to get diagnosed if you're a girl.
I know another fact about autism is that the mortality rate for autism is pretty big too. So another fact.
Do you know what's the reason for that mortality rate? What would be going on to make that happen?
You know, me personally, I don't know. It's just been through my experience that death is it runs higher with children with autism.
From my personal scene, I think it might be because of the diet, because they like very processed food and everything, like cheese and frozen pizzas and frozen chicken fries and everything.
I think medication, over medicating sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, my kids don't know medication.
You know, some autistic kids, they want to put them on medication. A lot of different things. There's a lot of different factors that can contribute to the mortality rate. But we're going to talk about that as we get some more of these facts.
Matter of fact, let's introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. We just got straight into it.
Let me bring my boy in, man. This guy, man, he's a great dude, right? I met him maybe about 5 years ago. We was working for a nonprofit agency in South LA.
True.
Working with kids that have, families had open cases with Department DCFS, or the kid had, the adolescents had a open case with probation. So they're called at-risk youth. So these are kids that are on the path to jail, on the path to, death with just the environment that they're living in, the schooling, not graduating, and either they were surrounded by a variety of factors, and so we step in and provide a safety net for these families, right? So they had wraparound services. There we go, wraparound. So I met him at when we were working there, and his dude was really. I took a liking to him. I learned a lot from him. He's a little older than me, but I kind of I learned from him. He gave his all to the kids. So I was like, man, I want to follow on his path. So we connected, and then recently he moved on. We moved separate, went on our separate directions. But recently, Autism Awareness Month, so I was searching on the internet and just ran across the page, and I was like, whoa, let me check it out. So I'm reading on it, and guess who pop up? My boy, man, right there. I'm
right,
like,
look at it work.
As soon as I seen him, I'm like, what, Anthony? Hit him up, boom. You know what? We got an episode about autism, and I know you really invest in the cause. So would you mind coming on as a guest? And
here
Anthony
I am.
Williams.
Here you go. What you called me like yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
It was last minute, but he came through, man. He came through for sure.
Like I said, this is a blessing. My name is Anthony Williams, and my story is no different than anybody else. I just took a liking to just trying to be of service to other people. Always putting other people, before myself, and so therefore it kind of, led me. It's been my whole career. It's just been serving people.
That's kind of funny. That's kind of hard for me to do.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm a self-centered. I don't know. I'm sorry. You feel me?
So everybody got their niche.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm like that. I be trying, but I really feel better when I do for me.
So my story is simple. I'm a basic boy from the hood. I'm born and bred in Los Angeles, Compton area, and I was fortunate enough to get out the hood and graduate from college. Had an experience at a black Black University, Tuskegee University.
Tuskegee, okay.
Shout
That's
out
what's
to
up, man.
TU, you know.
Hey, man, that's dope.
And
That's dope.
I was able to go down there and, you know, accomplish the goal and, you know, get the degree and, you know, come back home with it. And so, like most kids that go through college, you know, we all want to go in to be a doctor and a lawyer, but we find ourselves changing fields and get into other, you know, other things. So, my personal traumas of the past actually led me down and take a liking to the social work field. And so that's how I ended up just, you know, being in the social work field and, you know, hearing other people's story and just trying to be of an asset to them, no matter who or what they
Yeah,
are.
because it's rare to catch males in that, like
In that
in
field,
two,
yeah.
especially and it's
Two
two.
black,
I'm seeing two right now.
Yeah,
you
right,
feel me?
that.
I don't
Yeah.
like in black males at that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when I used to, my kids get seen by the Oriental Asian. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And, you know, like there's a shortage of us everywhere.
For sure.
But
sure.
you know, like Joe and I, we understand what it's like to work with the bottom of the barrel. We don't get the cream at the top. We get the bottom. We get the stuff that people don't want. But it's okay with me because I know I realize, you know what I'm saying, the silver lining in it all.
that's what the diamonds is at.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Right.
So therefore, you know, I just roll with that and I'm cool with it. I've been good with that ever since. So that's led me to get into the field of education, becoming a special ed teacher. I rocked in Compton Unified for the 6 years strong. I moved on to LA County Office of Education. I got into a plethora of non-public schools, just being a special ed teacher. And so that has really introduced me to autism as a whole. And then personally, I had a cousin was born diagnosed with autism. And this is how we ended up building the Hub City Autism Network.
Okay.
We're going to talk a lot more about that in the podcast as the show goes on.
Right. So with autism, what are some things? Can you tell us about autism and like some symptoms people could look into, like as far as the kids and it's not really diagnosed, underdiagnosed.
Yeah,
underdiagnosed, and it's different signs.
Yeah, different signs.
Because the spectrum is crazy.
So, and that's the idea of it. You know, it's such a large field that's been placed under one particular category known as autism. But to get to the signs of autism, things that people can look for, social impairments. You know, you have people who just, you know, they're paranoid about going out in the public. They don't want to go. They stay in the house. These are signs. Cognitive impairments. You know, the ability to think and process things. It's also a neurological. It's a neurological disability. Your neurons. I want you to think about your neurons. Okay, your neurons. Can you imagine a doctor tapping the little metal hammer, the little hard plastic, and he taps your knee, and your knee flakes out?
Right.
Those are your neurons. Those are your neurons.
So you can't stop.
The way your brain communicates with your body.
Right.
Okay. Those are your neurons. Those are your neurons, and so therefore, I'm just giving you a little small example of what the problems might be. Repetitive behaviors.
Okay.
Repetitive behaviors. You know, a particular kid doing things repetitively. These are signs of autism, and also which leads to communication difficulties, which we get into the nonverbal and the verbal and the different higher and lower level functionings of autism.
Because by dealing with autism is, I know that you can't just shout directions to them.
Yeah.
You low-key have to say it one time and let them process it, then let them go through it. You can't be like, do that, do this, and do that, and do that. I can't give my daughters 5 things to do at one time. It's not going to, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. And so, you know, and this is what our network is about. It's about the Hub City Autism Network is about it. When we're going to talk a little more about that. It's about providing a safety net, a network to provide support for dads like yourself, and also just to be able to create a platform for all of us to come together, so that you can feel like you're not alone. You're not alone. And with autism, one of the biggest problems that I had, which is why I advocate for the kids, is that, you know, for you to be able to say, me and my kids going to go to the store, that's an easy task for some of us. But for a person with an autistic child, that could be a challenge. That could be a hour-long process of just, you going to get a loaf of bread and coming back to the store. And I feel personally it's unfair when parents, have to leave their kid behind.
Right.
They can't, they don't want to take them out in public because they don't want to deal with it, and then all the stigmas that's associated with that. So we're going to talk a lot more about that,
it's
and we're
kinda
going to
hard
talk
'cause,
about some ways to
people
combat those ideas.
People don't want to deal with your kid at all. Like, you feel me? Like, you
Right.
don't have the normal person that just like, I'll sit with your kid. You feel me?
Babysitters and
It's
all
different.
that.
you
It's
know?
it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
So
So
that village is not really. It's like it's
Yeah.
a village, but it's like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. It's like, but
Right.
you know what I mean. I'll
Right.
be there with you. But
yeah,
So
I'll
how-
watch them with you if you watch them with me.
Right.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
how long has the Hub City network been going on?
Hub City Network has been in place now going on the past 7 years, real strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's put together by Consuelo Evans.
Okay.
As I stated, she's a phenomenal lady who has really walked a long mile with autism with her own child personally. And his story is a magnificent story, which is the birth of the organization.
Okay.
So Hub City Autism is located in Compton, and you can Google it, Hub City Autism Network,
Okay.
and you can find us there on all social media platforms as well.
Hub City. Okay.
Yeah, that's
How can families become a part of that hubs? People that have children that have autism, how can they join or be a part of that?
Well, it's simple. One of the things you can do is follow us on one of the social media pages. You can follow us there. Also, you can also come down to some of our events. We give lots of events throughout the year in our community. We do things like bowling. We take families of special needs. We rent out the bowling alley. Have days we go bowling. We have skate clinics. We do nature walks. There's so many things that I can't even think of right now. And
Right.
but the most important thing is that we have a DAS program, a workshop that's there we go, to support families.
Wow.
And especially fathers with our new DAS program
DAS
that we have. It's
program.
called Jasper's Dreams.
Jasper's, right.
Yeah, so that's actually an event. If you look in there, that's one of the events that we had in at Gonzalez Park. So
Okay.
thank you to the city of Compton who are always looking out for us.
That's
We
awesome.
also have Christmas giveaways, back to school giveaways. Everything we do is centered around providing support of families with autistic children.
Do you have any idea why is it harder for them to diagnose girls than males?
I don't know the answer to that one, but we do know that it's more prevalent in boys than girls. But scientific studies say that this it
It's
could
a
be, it could be a
male-dominated thing,
carrier.
yeah.
It could be a carrier. It could be
Yeah.
possibly a carrier. So a recessive gene that could be passed down.
Mhm.
Because as we all know that the autism rate is constantly
Right.
rising. It's constantly rising.
I didn't know no one with autism when I was in school.
Mhm.
I'm class of 06.
Mhm.
Or no, I wasn't educated. I wouldn't know. Now that I'm older, I see it dealing with my own kids. Like he was on the spectrum. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I do. Like I said, it's the language has changed.
there we go. Yes.
You
Yes.
know, the language has changed. We used to use harsh words, and you hear kids use the R word. We'll call it the R word.
Mhm.
That's a harsh word to be called anywhere.
Right.
And so, due to the fact that there's many different levels of it, the functioning of it, you know what I mean? I mean, we all know some supposed to be normal people that act really off the scale.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot.
A lot.
Right.
Right? You need some help.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
so it's the functioning level of it. You know what I mean? And so it's the classification of it. And the term autism is a classification, a big
Like you
umbrella
said.
of how to break it down into different things. Because you got everything from fragile legs,
Right.
Asperger's.
Yeah.
See, but they're doing away with all of the different languages and
Just
trying to
put it under
put one
one
particular
umbrella.
category now.
Yeah, because our community, we that's like shameful of us. So it's like he gonna be all right. He gonna
Yeah,
grow out of
he
it,
gonna
but
grow
you
out
don't
of it.
grow out of this.
No.
This is
It's no
forever.
cure.
like-
And I
Yeah.
commend you, brother. I commend you off the top because it's so difficult to be a black man and to be able to say, hey, you know what? I have a child with special needs.
I got 2.
So many people are they're so prideful they would not even come to the carpet on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone
They
go
my
out in the
kids. I
community.
love them to death.
And you should.
You know
And so therefore, I love them too. And so therefore, I get
that.
out there and I advocate for them as if they was my own. And that's what our network is all about: providing opportunities and resources for you and your families.
So, are there any other resources out there? Like, you mentioned the regional center and stuff like that. How does the regional center will help a family that maybe don't know if their kid have autism or?
We usually
Okay, well, I think
crazy right now.
Maybe we would talk about it and say what is the process of how to get a kid diagnosed?
How to get a kid?
How to get a particular kid diagnosed? Therefore, it will start with going to the doctor at your 3-month, 6-month, 9-month checkup. Yeah, I think that's the initial part where it starts, and we should also be looking for certain milestones. You know, are they crawling by this particular time? Are they, Googling and Gaga, or you know what I mean? The basic little things that we look for is where you begin looking as a parent to see if your child is making particular milestones or not. As the child progresses, the next stop is probably school. Okay, and then you'll begin to see, okay, well, the child was not as normal as the other kids in the classroom, or he's just so much different. So at that particular time, you can, request an evaluation from the school psychologist. You get the school involved, and you can request evaluation.
Okay.
Also yourself through the IEP process. Okay. Also, the regional center itself, you can have direct contact with the regional center. There's several of them. There's Westside Regional, there's Harbor Regional, South Central Regional. You can also contact them yourself and request an evaluation and ask for an evaluation. Now, this is what I will say to all the parents out there that are frustrated, because this is it's a very frustrating business trying to get services for your child, to try to get them seen, diagnosed. I'm telling you to be patient, but stay persistent.
Yeah, because my last daughter IEP was so off. Like she's made so much progress, and ain't even we did the virtual school and everything. Like my oldest daughter is like excel, but they still had her at nonverbal. But my daughter is on the Zoom class reading full books of this lady and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand that, and that's why I'm glad that Hub City Autism Network exists, because in a workshop that we offer to dads like yourself, we will help educate you and prepare you to walk into an IEP process, and you feel comfortable in that process. We're there to provide information for you so that you can understand the language and also what is supposed to actually transpire in the IEP process in regards to your child.
Yeah.
So I think it is it's fascinating to know that you're doing your thing, Dad. You out there in all aspects of the game, and we need more. We need to get the word out as far as how we can do better as Black men to better support our families with autism.
We talked earlier. You mentioned ABA. What is that?
ABA is known as Applied Behavior Analysis, and so what that is, it's sort of a therapeutic approach to how to use positive reinforcement, for example. Okay, what you basically want to do is you want to get rid of a negative behavior and teach them a more appropriate way to obtain what it is that they want, because we know it's two things for sure about behavior. But behavior comes because they either want to get something or either you want to avoid something. So that is the true drive behind.
Well, you gotta know that temper tantrum you get.
There you go. Yeah. You don't have no temper tantrum for nothing.
Yeah.
You having a temper tantrum because you want something or you're not getting something. And so applied behavior analysis, it focuses on behaviors such as social skills. Okay, it focuses on communication. It focuses on academics. It focuses on grooming techniques, hygiene. We have kids that get a little bit older, and we even got some people who ain't special.
Right.
They got a problem with hitting that water. You know, and you have to figure out, how do I get this person in the shower every day without having a physical fight with you?
Right.
This is where your applied behavior analysis comes in place. Because now you want to learn how to teach this individual how to accomplish their goal without the behaviors.
Right.
And it's a slow, methodical process.
It is. It's real slow, real tedious. You just got to be prepared and on it all the time because they're scheduled people. If you put them on a good schedule and you shake it up just a little bit without them even comprehending or knowing what's going on, you're going to have a long day.
That's right.
Long day.
So it's like a positive reinforcement and then you have negative reinforcement. You know, some people think they're doing positive reinforcement when they're actually setting up a negative situation that feeds into the behavior as opposed to taking it away. Right. So applied behavior analysis is a technique that helps you do that. And you do that by, one, figuring out why the person is doing whatever it is that they're doing. Okay, we already talked about the behaviors. Behaviors happen because they either want something or they're trying to avoid something.
Right.
Okay, and so therefore we have to learn how to reinforce the positive side of it. And this is what ABA does. It teaches you to remove a negative behavior and then replace it with the wanted or the desired behavior that you really want to work with. And it takes time. It takes time to do that.
So are there classes or workshops out there people could go to kind of like learn more about it?
Absolutely. You can always Google. Like I say, Google is your friend. Google tells you everything.
Right.
And as long as you understand what it is, it's really one-on-one. It's really one-on-one therapy. Okay, certain behaviors require a kid might have a one-on-one, but it's a one-on-one analysis of the behavior. And what they do is they look at what is the cause of the behavior, what is the antecedent, why is they doing what they're doing. Kids acting out, they look at it's like a functional behavior analysis. They look at the intensity of the negative behavior. How long does this behavior happen? Is this behavior predictable? Predictable.
Yes,
Right.
Can you predict the behavior? You see it coming.
Right.
You see it coming. You know it's coming.
They're aggressive.
You know it's coming.
They're aggressive. They're
You
strong.
know it's coming. You walking on eggshells as a parent. You already know
Right.
that behavior is coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the anticipation of it, what do you do with that? How do you de-escalate that? What
That's
can
one thing
you
I need to
do
learn.
instead of that?
Because one of my child, her mood runs the house. If she's having a bad day,
We having a bad day.
she's tripping. She going crazy, bro. Everybody gonna feel it. Her sister's gonna feel it. Everybody gonna feel
Right.
it. If she's having a bad, if she wakes up and her iPad not where she left it at, or her favorite teddy bear ain't under her arm, it's anything is set the tempo up to go crazy.
Right. And so these are things that, you know, as a behavior tech, a behavior therapist, and you're, you know, a parent, you're looking at all of these different things.
Especially with the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh,
The
should we
pandemic
talk
has
about
messed
the
up everything because
pandemic?
we can't even get the proper resources because everything, you know, they're coming back now. I'm talking about when it first started.
Yeah, it was
everything,
hard.
Taking your kids out of school.
It was really hard.
Like this
was really
this
hard.
year coming up, they're going back to school off the mental break of me and my girl. Like, just to be honest, I'm not going to lie to you at all.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Shout out
needs
to
a
all
break.
the teachers out there. You know what I'm saying? You see how you need it.
Right.
Yeah, you're definitely you're so appreciated
See how you need it.
from my household because woo,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Time
you only got
out
to deal
with that
with them for a
break.
little while. I deal
Yeah.
with them for a lot and I understand, you know what I mean? Like they are
So back to ABA though,
Great
but
lesson.
basically the you know the behaviors, they can be strengthened or weakened according to how you address the situation. How you address the situation. And that's why I always, when people ask me personally, I try to give them a short term, you know, and if you understand what positive and negative reinforcement is, you teetering with that. You know, you tweaking it, you tweetering, you tweetering it. So, you know, like I say, you know, you go to the grocery store, you see that kid always hollering in the store. Why is the kid crying in the store? They want something.
right.
Right? So as a parent, how do you stop the kid from hollering in the store?
You get them.
You buy it for
You
him.
buy it for
You just
them.
buy it for him. Okay.
Now it's in their mind.
Now.
That's what I got to do.
Now you go to the store the next day. Kid does the same thing. Start crying, falling out on the floor. You bought her something yesterday.
Right.
How you gonna handle it today?
Right.
What you gonna do?
It's the move I do to get stuff. So
You gonna buy her something again? You gonna
Yeah.
keep buying her something? Well, every time you go into that store, that girl gonna fall out on that floor and cry until what? Until you do what?
You get her
Until
what
you
get her
buy
needs
something.
met, yeah.
That's negative reinforcement.
For sure, that's enabling them.
You enabling them.
Right.
You telling her it's okay to act like that.
And it's not.
It's
You can't
not
do that
okay
in the
to
real
do
world.
that. So
Right.
what do? I don't know about y'all, but I know how
I
much.
need to know. What do you do? You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Let me know.
hey, let me.
What do
Let
you
me
do?
tell you. Let me tell
I
you.
need to know.
You remember when you was a little kid, you want to go to the store with your mama, and she give you that prep talk before you go in the store. What she tell you?
Don't ask for nothing.
Don't touch nothing.
I can't even
If
lie. I
you
never
do-
got that speech.
Right.
You
I
understand
I
where I'm
never have
coming
got that
from?
speech
for
from
sure.
my mom.
Okay, so she already prepping you.
Right. Right.
She's already setting the mark of what her expectations are. And she's also going to tell you the consequence of what's going to happen if you do that.
The crazy part about it is I was hard hit. I probably would have still asked. All right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm just being a little light in what I'm saying. But
Yeah, no, I get
the
exactly
truth
what you're
is,
saying.
you got positive reinforcement, you got negative reinforcement. You have to be very careful in the message that you're sending when you're addressing your child's behavior. You really have to be conscious of what it is and the real outside, the big message and what it is that you're sending. Not because you want your kid to hurry up and be quiet. You really have to look at the bigger picture of, am I setting myself up by condoning this? Or do I need to teach this child, hey, we're going to go to the store. We're going to go to the store a couple of more times after this. And it's going to be some times where you're not going to be able to
we're not
to
going
get,
to the toy
you're
section.
not going to be able to get it. So I need you to, have some balance and work it out. So this is the ABA approach where you teach a child how to replace that negative behavior with something a little bit more marginable.
And you got to be on accord with your partner too. Can't be
Absolutely.
Can't be the
Big
one
time.
person.
Yes,
So
right.
you asked me another way how, I might deal with that. And, one of the ways I might deal with it is talk to the child and say, hey, you know what? I know when we come to the store, you want something all the time, but I'm not going to be able to get you something all the time. Let's say we, if we come to the store 3 times, I might buy you something once out of every 2 or 3 times that we come to the store.
Yeah.
You have to work out a replacement deal. You gotta,
right.
you gotta make some kind of a package deal. You gotta make some kind of a pack. Yeah, you gotta make it make sense for them.
Yeah, you gotta make it make sense for them.
Because it doesn't. Remember, we're talking about kids who are fixated on things that are on the spectrum, and things we take for granted is things that really affect them. Like for example, volume.
Yeah.
Your volume of your voice.
Right.
Okay. Our hearing, we might consider it to be normal, but an autistic child's hearing might be amplified.
Right.
So we might be talking calm, but in their mind and the way they're perceiving it, we yelling at them. And so therefore the environment can be a trigger as well to some of the other behavior. That's why some of our autistic kids, you know them off the top because they wearing headphones. To muffle the sound. You could pick them out of a crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
Ain't no music going on in there.
Right. They're just sensitive to the whole thing.
They're sensitive to the whole thing. And that's when we talk about sensory. Sensory, your senses, Everybody know what your senses are. What are your senses? Sight, touch, feeling,
taste.
smell, taste. And some even say balance. Balance is one of the ones that they kind of throw in there too from time to time. But, your senses are everything. And those senses are definitely heightened in an autistic child. And that's something that we need to understand as normal people.
Because one of my daughters listens extremely high, and the one can listen to it on volume 12. They hear everything perfectly. Like with them, you can kind of tell because my daughter will wind one part back all day. One of her favorite things is.
That's the fixation we talked about.
Like in the loud house. Oh, run that back. In the loud house. Now she repeating it now. Oh, in the loud house. Then she'll skip to another part. And I'm like, are you teaching yourself how to talk?
It could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
every time.
It could be, but there's something of high interest to her in that particular phrase.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that too, and I want to encourage all of the families out here with special needs children, is that your child have a gift.
Yep.
On the
special.
other side of that, there is some kind of a gift within that person. Now you can go down a list of movies that they've made about autistic, high functioning autistic children. What, Rain Man was one of them.
Mhm.
The
Okay. The Accountant. I think was it Jamie Foxx, the soloist?
The soloist.
Soloist.
Was it the
Yes.
soloist too?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause remember them hit them notes and without even know how to read music, just know how to do it. Yeah. That's a
Okay.
form. Like Beethoven and all them. He couldn't read music. He was just naturally, he felt it.
It's
Right.
sensory.
Yeah.
Sensory.
A lot of them.
I think Dr. Dre, he might be autistic because the way he hear music, that's so dope.
Like Tyler the Creator said, he don't know how to read music or nothing.
Right.
It just,
Mhm.
just
I mean,
comes to him.
A lot of the stuff is a sensory approach. Like, you know what I mean? It's how
Seeing
it's what they
colors.
feel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see if Kanye West on the spectrum. Not on no funny. You know what I'm
Might
saying?
be.
He might be.
Because I read a quote his mom said, like, when she first asked him, like, how do you see the beats? And he was like, I see it in red, blue, and everything. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And if you talk to my oldest daughter, she actually she see things. She like, I seen it in like red, blue. I seen it like that's how it came to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I remember seeing something on that dude. He painted a beat or something. He painted a picture, and it was a beat, a measure of a beat.
Wow.
And he said, in my head, the beat say boom, 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 and it was an actual picture. But now that if you in the music, you can see the bass, the treble, and all of that. But he actually painted a picture of it, which is very insightful, if you ask me, because I ain't never seen anything like that.
So are you a father?
I am a father. I'm
Yeah.
a father. Yeah, I have 3 sons.
3 sons.
3 sons out there. I don't have any kids that are have any disabilities,
Mhm.
but I'm a father.
Okay. What are the ages?
24, 21, and 18.
oh yeah, you
Okay.
good, man.
Yeah, I'm
You
past.
out.
Yeah, man, I'm done, man. I did my.
I just started
I did
over.
that.
Right.
I did that. I did that.
Yeah.
I
That's
did
what's
that
up, man.
already.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I did that.
Congratulations. Okay.
I started over. I got a 1 month at the house.
Yeah.
yeah.
Man.
About to be
Congratulations
2, yeah.
again, man.
Hey, man, we need life, man.
Right.
We need
Sure.
life, man. We need it. We need more
I
of
just
us.
can't have a boy for nothing.
We need
All
it.
girls.
Nah.
All girls. All
Hey.
girls. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was great having you here. Make sure y'all follow us at the D.A.D podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Tell them where they can follow you at.
Yo, you can always catch up with me at Hub City Autism Network, the City of Compton, Google, Facebook, add it up. We got events coming up.
Tell them about the event.
April 23rd, we having our Stepping for Autism walk at the Compton airport. Come out about 9 o'clock in the morning. There'll be a lot of vendors, food, live DJ, community. We're gonna be having a lot of resources out there for you. Every third Saturday of the month, the DADS program. We meet at Optimal School over here off of Palmer in the city of Compton. So all you dads out there, please tap in, make a reservation. Reserve your spot. Come in. We got a $50. I got a $50 gift card for you every time you come to attend. I'm really targeting our fathers out here so we can get around you and support you. So we have a workshop coming up on the 21st. We have a skateboard clinic June the 4th at Optimal. And we're gonna have a nature outing in June. So every month, pretty much, there's some kind of social activity that Hub City Autism Network have going on for families. So thank you for your time.
Sir, man, appreciate it. Hopefully we can have you come back again. Spill some more of this on us.
Yes,
Oh,
sir,
for sure.
man.
Anytime.
back.
Anytime. Thank
All
you.
right, thanks for having me.
All right.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming. It's the D.A.D podcast, man.
We
Stay
out.
tuned.
Shout out to
Subscribe. We
the
about to start
dads,
having
baby.
the visuals up.
Visuals
Thanks
on
to-
the way.
Thanks to
Shout out
Solomon
to
and
the
all
way.
that.
Yes.
Thank you.